Okay, so my name is Matthew Shabonik, and welcome to my little online presentation about how you can use quantitative analysis in your Arabic lessons, which is just a fancy way of saying using math and graphs and data to look at social media like Twitter and Instagram. So I'm going to kind of take you through the PowerPoint presentation that I made and show you exactly how some of these tools work. Most students should be familiar at least with Instagram and Twitter, basically how it works, but I'll show you how it works nonetheless. So the thing that we're going to be focusing on is the analysis mainly of networks and of feelings, so what they call sentiment analysis. These are both really developed fields of research in everything from digital marketing to the humanities, and my background is in the humanities, and so I've seen how we can use a lot of these tools to understand social, cultural, political phenomenon better. And I wanted to make it easy and accessible enough so that students could kind of get a taste of it as well, so that when they were working themselves on when they were working themselves online, trying to learn Arabic and use Arabic, they could just have some smarter tools to be able to kind of dig in into the huge amount of information and content that's out there. So here's just I gave you guys the English version of this. I translated this and it just shows you all of the different tools and ways that we can try to analyze and understand social media, going from qualitative analysis, things like rhetorical analysis, looking into the histories of specific people, specific audiences, doing kind of almost like ideological analysis of pictures and video and things like that, to the other side, the most heavily quantitative analysis type things. I could go on and on forever about this stuff. There are so many different tools, but we're gonna just barrel ahead because you guys are just trying to teach this class, not take a class. So here's just a healthy definition of what network analysis means that you can share with students. You can have a little conversation about it as well. It's a little bit vague, so it could be a good way to generate conversations, but you can also use this graph or this diagram here as just a really simple explanation. So as it says here, this is color coded to show the centrality to this network, which means, let's say you're in a high school and you've got the popular kids and you've got the not popular kids. The most popular kids, we've got the homecoming king right here. We got the captain of football. We got the person who's in charge of the yearbook, for example. These are the people in dark blue who are connected to the most other people. And then going all the way out to the outside is red. These are the least amount of people. And we can quantify how quote unquote popular somebody is, whether it's a social network or a high school, based on how many nodes they connect to. So you can see here the popular person is just kind of at the center of everything, whereas a person on the outside can have as few as like 2 or 3 connections as this person does. So it's just a helpful way to kind of visualize and quantify these things, which is something that we actually do with Twitter conversations a little bit later. Cool. So network analysis is all about trying to find ways to use data to visualize the relationships between people and between groups. This helps us figure out things like where a conversation starts, who's driving a conversation, are there different clusters of relationships. For example, you have a space in which, all of the sports people are having a conversation together. They don't have a lot of conversations with the art students, for example. That's something that network analysis can actually show and reveal to you. If you wanted to look at political conversations in Lebanon, for example, you could see, are users online really being siloed into different groups based on their religious denomination or their like socioeconomic status. This is all kind of really great social science data that we can look at. Moving ahead. So the first tool that I have in your toolbox to take a look at is called Trends Map. Trends Map is simply a free tool online, and I'm going to switch over to it now. And And what it does is it shows you what are the most popular hashtags, which are little labels that you can put onto conversations to let people know that that's the specific conversation that you're writing about at that time. So for example, let's go to Jeddah. You can literally travel all over the entire world. Zooming out here, it's kind of overwhelming. But let's zoom into Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the most active country in the Arab world for Twitter users. I was excited and fascinated to learn that the other day. Is this Jeddah? Are we here, or is this something? No, this is Yanbu. Okay. Heading down the river. Here we go. All these people are talking in Jeddah right now. So let's zoom in. Let's zoom in here. We can look closely. We're looking for a hashtag that's going to have a lot of controversy and conversations around it. So you can point students towards this. Why are people talking about Somalia? Here we go. We've got France and Allah and the Prophet. I'm sure going to be a very 260,000 tweets in the last day. So if you click on any one of these tweets, oh, here we go. Macron is the pig of France. Fantastic. You know, not fantastic in the term. I don't agree with that necessarily, but for the amount of juicy tweets that you're going to get. So if you click on any of these, the other one actually seems pretty good too. Where'd it go? There'll be the amount of tweets will be by size. So the bigger it is, the more tweets that it's going to have. We can see here how many places within Jeddah, how this conversation has been popping up for the last 7 days, and how it has also been popping up globally. Then we can look and see through all of the most famous tweets here. Really, really cool. We can just highlight it, copy it, take it over to Twitter. And here's Twitter. Welcome, if you've never been before, to the nightmarescape that is Twitter. And you just go up here into the top right-hand corner and you search your hashtag. It says that it's trending. So you can have filters from people I know if they're having conversations about it, from anybody, and then locations, but you don't have to really worry about this. Boom, we're gonna get so many tweets with so much information about having to do with everything that's been going on with France, with the beheading, and wow, look at all the rhetoric going on here. Oh boy, I'm gonna actually have to save that picture. That's like too good. Sorry, let's just screenshot this really quick. Thank you. Moving on. Anyways, you should have no shortage of in-class conversations about this topic. Why is Macron being demonized? What's going on in France? What are the attitudes towards Islam and this teaching of Arabic? I know there's been controversies about teaching it in school. Anyways, it's very, very, there's this picture again. There's so much to go through here, so much that will be in a mix of languages. So not only will it be in English and in Arabic, as you can see, a lot of these are in English. There'll probably at some point be something in French. Here we have something in Urdu. This is all just to say that you're going to get a mix of different registers. Hopefully you'll get a lot of stuff in different registers of Arabic. Here we have at least some of the Quranic Arabic. And that's to just give you a lot of stuff in class to take a look at. So in some of the assignments, you're going to have the students go to some place specific, look up a hashtag, and then just kind of dive into the feed here and see what the conversation is going on about, and have the students look for things like examples of logos, ethos, and pathos. So we have here, I would categorize using Quranic verses as an example of ethos. We're appealing to more ethics, morals, and to authoritative sources. And what's more of an authoritative source in Arabic than the Quran? Very cool. So that's basically how you use Trends Map. It's just quickly click on it, zoom in, and then if you want to actually get into the meat and potatoes, you just copy and paste and then go over to Twitter. Very cool. And what does this show you? It shows you the popularity of certain hashtags. If we're looking at things like, I should mention this, if we're looking at this logos, pathos, ethos, that is qualitative analysis. But if we were looking at, for example, the amount of tweets, which are the most popular, these kind of graphs and things like that here, then that's more quantitative analysis. It's a little bit arbitrary, this difference, because we basically do all kinds of analysis when we're looking at these tweets. Moving on. Okay. So we have SocioViz, which is the next thing here. It's an awesome, awesome program that is available. It was designed for the humanities and for social sciences. So it's not just a marketing tool. It's something for kind of really, really good science. The only problem is that you guys and me, we're only going to have access to basically one search. You get one shot at this, unless you want to pay for an account, or if somehow we get some other way to get access to accounts. So I posted this screenshot here to give you a great example of what it can do with network analysis. So this is a conversation that took place around the hashtag Lawla al-Jaysh al-Masri. And we can see here a very, very clear trend, and that is the popularity of this account here, Mina Pop 606HB. So let's actually go to SocioViz. And then here's Lawla al-Jaysh al-Masri. And we click on the report. So basically what you do here is you will start a new search. Unfortunately, I can't really show you this, but you'll do a new search. And you basically put in a hashtag. And then you can search for the dates here of like when, so this is what conversations that took place in the last 10 days, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can click on it and look, and it's going to give you 100 tweets, which is also kind of a limitation of SocioViz. But even considering that, it's pretty amazing, all the information, all the data and quantitative information that you can glean from this. So I'll just take you a really, really quick run through all of this. This is the amount of tweets. This is the amount of tweets in total. These are the amount of retweets. So there's someone types something about this topic, anything about this topic, and if other people like it, they will retweet it, basically just amplifying the message of what somebody said. So I can give you an example about this online here. This guy, Gehad, posted this picture along with this saying and the hashtag. If I wanted to retweet it, I would click on this, basically the recycle button. And then I am now retweeting it, which means I'm just amplifying the message. So anyone who follows me will then be seeing this message, even though it's going to say that it comes from them. It is a measure of popularity. I can also just simply like it. Retweeting is considered like a stronger endorsement than just liking it. And then I can comment on it. And you will want to definitely look through and see things that have more comments. Here we have 4, we have 2, because it's just a really great indication of controversy and people having conversations about things. There's something, maybe you've heard about this in the, here we go, 103 comments. There's a thing called getting ratioed. And it's my pleasure to explain this. If I like something, I like it. Whoop, I press the heart. If I love something, I can retweet it. Someone just retweeted it right now. If I disagree with it or think it's stupid, I'll most likely do neither one of those things. I will comment on it and say something like, you're dumb, I hate you, your ideas are bad. And I'm not going to go through what all these things are, but people are definitely, they've got opinions about this. And so if you have more comments than you have likes or retweets, it's called getting ratioed, which means people hate the thing that you said, or they think the thing that you said is stupid and they're making fun of you. In a nutshell, that's what's basically going on. So when we look back here, man, there really is so much to this. When we look at the tweets, okay, this is just like basically how many tweets are getting tweeted in this very short time period. This is how many things have been retweeted. But basically, this graph's not very interesting, but you'll see if you pick a longer time period to go through that it kind of goes up and down, and it can respond to specific events, and we can see when it actually started too. So you might want to pick a little bit wider of a time period and play around with this to see what kind of information, interesting things you can find. Here are the top hashtags and the ones that are related to it. So for example, very interesting down here on the list, Hillary Clinton. What does Hillary Clinton have to do with the Egyptian military? Well, you can click on it and you can kind of look through these tweets and see exactly what their relationship is. And a lot of the times it'll be a very fascinating, if not depressing, conspiracy theory. We can look at the actual tweets, like they'll be all written out here, and we get a really good sense of it. And we can just kind of visualize quickly what they all look like. Do they have a lot of emojis? Are they posted by the same types of people? Are there a lot of exclamation points and kind of like words that are written out long to make it seem like they're yelling or they're saying, ah, or something like that? Then we come here to users. We see the most popular users. So again, most influential person was this Mina Pop guy with 20 retweets or mentions. So he's definitely driving this conversation, followed by this guy, Zayed Al-Ayubi. We can look at specific words that came up frequently in this conversation about the Egyptian military. So obviously, believing in things, being convinced of things, being Arab, the country, all these things. Spies, interesting. What could that be about? Dig into it. Emojis, obviously the Egyptian flag is number one emoji, but why are people laughing? What do people think is funny? It's something we can see, we can take a look for. Again, that would be more like qualitative analysis. Moving on to words network, this is really cool. This shows us what are the most popular words that have come up in this conversation. We'll zoom out here. And what other words are they related to? So we have here floating in the ether, Clinton. And then Clinton is related, and then there's Hillary. They're just swimming past each other in space. The people is here. All these things, the American. So all these things are related, and then they're related in that they were included in the same tweets close to each other. And we can see these kind of networks, navigate around using this. I can see there's a network of words over here that are tied into Clinton. A lot of stuff, I don't even really know what it means, but it's all really fascinating, and it's good questions to ask. We're kind of getting our students to want to ask interesting questions rather than coming up with any really definitive conclusions, since this is sort of an introduction to network analysis. But that's cool. Emojis is basically the same thing. You can click on and see what are the popular emojis, and we have here racing to the center, the Egyptian flag. Oh, but there's also the Saudi Arabian flag. What do they have to do with each other in this specific conversation? Interesting thing to look into. But very most common, the number one connection between emojis is people with the Egyptian flag and a thumbs up. Makes sense. User network's very important. We can look and see, again, this is the one that I showed y'all. The most important people in this conversation, who's retweeting who's responding to who is getting the most likes. Like I said, it is this guy, Mina Pop. Very fascinating. And we can actually, we'll go back to users here. We'll highlight his name, and we'll actually go to his account and take a look at who he is and what's the deal, and see if there's any clues of why he would be so popular. So again, I can just go to the search bar here, type in Mina Pop, and there he is. He has a Egyptian flag in his avatar. There's so much information that we can look into here. What is his tagline? How many people does he follow or is he following? When did he join? And what kind of stuff does he tweet about? It seems like he almost exclusively tweets about Egyptian politics. It's interesting. But why would this person be in charge or be the most powerful person in this, driving this conversation? What is his credentials? It doesn't actually have a real name anywhere. So I don't actually know what this person's credentials are in the real world. His picture's also like, we can barely see who the person actually is. Some of these things could be suspect. I'm not necessarily saying that he's a bot, that he's a robot, not a real person, but doesn't have any actual information other than the fact that he's Egyptian and, these things that he puts here, which are kind of vague. All very important in looking and seeing who's driving these conversations. And then hashtags, again, it's just a visualization of which hashtags are the most popular, and Hillary's emails are there. Why are they popular? And we look into them. So that's SocioViz. Hopefully you guys will get even more interesting stuff with the hashtag conversations and the time periods that you choose to follow. Sentiment analysis is basically a way of seeing whether or not the general mood or tone around a conversation or in a snippet of text is generally positive or negative. So for example, I launch a new product in Egypt, and it's a new type of Coca-Cola. It's a new type of Coke or something like that. 10 days later or 2 weeks later, I want to do a sentiment analysis. I want to see just generally what are people thinking of it. Like, do they like the new Coke or do they not? You can do a sentiment analysis. You can just analyze any and all writings online about that relate to your desired hashtag or word and see whether or not, like, on the whole, are people's feelings about it positive or negative. And the way that you do that is just like you would tag a word like awesome or so good as positive, an emoji with like crying eyes is positive, but then like sucks, terrible, those types of things is negative. And you basically just give a score based on how strong the expression of feelings are in one way or the other. Here's just an article about it. So they basically did a sentiment analysis where they saw that people who were talking about nature were expressing more positive feelings on the whole when they were then returning to social media to talk about how great their experiences had been. We can do visualizations of the sentiment analysis. So for example, positive tweets and words. I'm trying to remember what this was even about. Can I remember? So here's a list of positive words, words that have been deemed to be positive and words that have deemed to be negative around a certain conversation topic. I apologize. Oh, I think this is about the Riyadh airport. So Trump is in this situation, and again, I don't know people have different data sets of what they include as being positive and negative words, but words like Trump is seen positively, words like al-Sheikh is seen positively, whereas Riyadh and airport have seen negative. And of course, the bill seen very, very negatively. And then here we just have just a printout, like here's the amount of negative words around the Riyadh airport, here are the positive words, and here are the neutral words. So just a simple, like, do people like the Riyadh airport? Well, it looks like 56% of people are saying positive things about it. So unfortunately, the majority of the free tools out there for doing sentiment analysis, and there are actually a lot of them, and it's really, really cool. Most of them are for English data sets, or like they'll use a, what's the word? A corpus of English words. So that's not really, really helpful for us. But this person here with Arabi tools has created a simple sentiment analysis that we can do using Arabic words. So for example, I typed in, I hate late responses. Someone had written this like 15 times on Twitter. And I just copy and paste the text in here, and you click on analyze, 100% negative text. But that's pretty easy and straightforward. So the tool here, it's on Arabi Tools. I've sent you guys the link. What is all this down here? Don't even worry about it. This is just if you want to plug in his tool into a code for some other program that you're using. Not going to help us. What we want is the free online tool, which is this here. So basically all you do is you just find yourself some Arabic text, okay? Copy and paste it. And then analyze the feelings. 100% positive, which is obvious because it's a picture of Sisi, and this is Mr. Egyptian military guy. So let's see if we can find one. Let's try to test a theory here. I'm guessing that Menapop does not like Erdogan. So let's find a picture of Erdogan. Great. Do we have any text here? Okay, let's try this. I'm guessing this will be a negative. Huh, okay, it says it's kind of mixed. But anyways, it's a fun thing to play with. What the tool should be used for if we had a better free software to use for it, was that you would scrub hundreds and hundreds of tweets. We would get everything about CC, for example, and then we would run it all through this program, and then we would get a readout in general for hundreds and hundreds of tweets. Unfortunately, we can only do this for one tweet, but it's just a cool thing to take a look at. To show you what it would look like, we can go to this website, which I gave you for free. It's called Sentiment Viz. And again, this is from the Digital Humanities. It's a free program that allows you to plug in a keyword or keywords and basically get a large scale quantitative analysis of things. So again, we'll just type in, and I've done this before. We're just gonna type in CC. And we're gonna want to do CC or you want to do LCC? What do people refer to more sometimes? Sorry, just give me 1 second. Whatever, we'll just do LCC. Sorry, excuse me a second. No, let's just do it. Yeah, whatever. Sorry. So this is loading all the tweets that it can find, a huge corpus of people's tweets that involves the word CC. But it'll have this word CC in Arabic, that's what it's looking for, but it's only gonna analyze English words. So we see here the vast majority of these words are positive, okay? We can look here and see some of the topics that they have. Heat map on, it's not really whatever. This is interesting though, and I put this here. This is different words that have been associated with him. This splits it up in between positive, pleasant, unpleasant, and then active and subdued. And we can see the things that are being said about him that are positive. You know, him being the guard of the Nile, that's a positive thing. As opposed to the stuff over here. But again, I just will repeat, this isn't analyzing Arabic stuff semantically. It's just pulling it in and analyzing English language stuff semantically. So it can still kind of get you to a really good sense of what's going on. But, okay, again, this is another group of people who are having conversations about it. And then we can click on the tweets and actually see, but then we see here, it's all actually English stuff. So there will be hashtags, and that's where we're actually getting the word CC. But these people are all speaking in English, and and then the words like leadership, people, citizen, support, support, defend. These are the words that are being analyzed for their sentiments, not any of the Arabic words. So that's a problem. But if we found Arabic tweets and we're able to plug them into this program, then we could actually analyze the sentiment of them. So that's what that's about. I showed you this, and I think that's all of it. Cool, so those are just some of the simple tools that you can do to like look at things like the sentiment, look at the network. They're just good ways to answer some, or begin asking some interesting questions about conversations that are going on online. Yeah. One last thing, if you haven't, I'll do to wrap things up. I will give a quick tutorial of just how Instagram online works. So if you go to Instagram.com and you see here, this is just really, really basic stuff. So I'm going to type in for the other lesson about the cemetery. On my Arabic keyboard, yep. So you begin in this is the search bar. You begin, sorry, my typing's terrible. You just begin typing in the word the place that you're looking for. And then this is what I refer to in the lesson plans as the geotag. So you click on the geotag, and this is going to give you all of the posts that have been tagged. Someone went to the cemetery, or someone wants to talk about the cemetery. They post it as being in the Valley of Peace Cemetery. So now we have all of the posts that people have posted of them in the cemetery. Okay, I'm gonna be really quick about this. These are the top 9 posts. These are the 9 most popular posts. And if you hover over the post, you can see 3,319 people have liked it. 134 people have commented on it. So that's one of the reasons why it's so popular. Not as popular as 23,000, 5,000. If you click on it, it'll then pull up the post. And if you click on this small arrow, it'll take you through. They post more than one picture. You can see all of them. And then you can see his original comment when he posted this. And here's where the location. And then here are all of the replies and things that people have said. And this is a gold mine of linguistic and cultural information. You can click here to go to just the very next post in line, or you can exit out of this and continue scrolling down the page this way. If you hover over any of them, you can see how popular they are. One thing that I was trying to show earlier is that if you were in a post and it has a hashtag somewhere, you can then click on that hashtag in that post and it'll take you to a new scroll that'll have, come on, hashtags, where are you at? A new scroll that will have all of the posts related to that. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to find any here, but that's fine. And again, almost any student should be completely familiar and fluent in how to use Instagram. And we're not actually, here we go, okay. Well, these are not very good hashtags. Never mind. These are all things that they should be really familiar with. And we're not asking the students to actually do anything that specific or hard, because you can't really do anything that hard on Instagram. There are other tools that you can do that can do deeper dives into things like data, but we're not really doing any of those. We're basically just looking at these pictures and using it as a way to explore spaces digitally. So I hope that helps. I hope that wasn't too fast. And please let me know if you have any questions, and happy surfing. All right, I'm gonna stop recording now. Does that work? See, I'm still learning technology too. Okay, I'm done. Bye.